extremely dangerous was unearthed while workers were digging. After seeing the photos, the sheriff was scared out of her wits and immediately had officers trigger a level 1 alert, then reported the emergency to the military. Upon receiving the notice, soldiers treated it as facing a great enemy and rushed to the scene in armored vehicles. At the same time, officers sealed off a 10-mile radius and evacuated every single resident in the area and pedestrian on the street, leaving not one behind, all because of a massive World War II-era missile that had been unearthed. If it exploded, the entire city could be affected, but a few people in one apartment weren't afraid of dying. They deliberately hid inside, drew the curtains, locked the door, and made sure the police wouldn't find them. Soon after, Jimmy, the military's bomb disposal expert, arrived on scene. He didn't dare approach the bomb right away, so he first had soldiers build a 10-meter-thick blast wall out of sand, then used a remote-controlled vehicle to observe the bomb up close. After confirming there was no immediate risk of explosion, his assistant brought a water pump over to the bomb. Since the main body was underwater, the surrounding water had to be drained before the disarming work could continue. At that point, the construction foreman rushed over and said there was a 400 kilovolt main power cable beneath the site. If it got damaged, it would cause enormous losses to the city. So before disarming, the power had to be shut off first. For the sake of the city's economy, police leadership agreed without hesitation. As all electrical equipment in the city shut down, the men in the apartment began to act. They were well trained and had a clear target. They went straight from the 18th floor down to the basement, then pulled out tools they had hidden in advance and started the theft. To be safe, they had even installed several cameras outside the bank lobby on the first floor to monitor the outside situation at any time. Once everything was ready, Thief Carl found the generator in a trash bin, then fed the wires through the ventilation ducts to his partners in the basement. With the power on, they used an angle grinder to cut through the wall. Looking at it this way, the missile above ground had also likely been arranged by them in advance. Sure enough, once the assistant finished draining the water, a problem was discovered. One part of the bomb was unusually shiny. This thing had existed for nearly 100 years. It should have been covered in rust, but now it looked brand new. Jimmy figured the workers had accidentally scraped off the rust while operating the excavator, so the disarming work had to continue. Jimmy carefully cleared the dirt off the bomb's casing and located the trigger fuse. His plan was to first drill into the fuse, then inject a solution inside to block the mechanical components. Meanwhile, the thieves had also successfully broken through the first brick wall, then hauled out an oversized drill bit weighing several hundred pounds. Only then would it be possible to drill through the final 1-meter-thick steel wall. But the drill consumed a huge amount of power and instantly hit the generator's load limit. The sudden voltage spike also caught the police's attention. After evacuating the public, they had been surveying the entire area with drones. Even though the city's power had been cut, besides the power equipment at the bomb disposal site, they also detected a heat source near the bank. The sheriff suspected someone hadn't evacuated in time. If the bomb exploded and caused civilian casualties, she would bear significant responsibility. She immediately ordered the disarming work to stop. This made Jimmy, who was already under high pressure, very angry, but he had no choice but to follow orders. Shortly after, 2 officers came to the bank to check the situation and were spotted by Carl, who was keeping watch outside. He quickly notified his partners to speed things up. After cutting the generator power, he ran back down to the basement himself. By then, they had successfully entered the vault. His partners were excitedly loading up cash and various valuable jewelry, while Carl had a clear target. He went straight to one specific safe. Inside was not cash, but something certainly worth more than cash. To avoid raising suspicion, he put this bag together with the stolen goods his partners had taken, planning to quietly take it once they were outside. Meanwhile, Jimmy suddenly noticed the fuse's fluctuation frequency getting higher and higher. He immediately had a bad feeling and quickly told his teammates to take protective measures and get behind cover. Right after that, the explosion entered its countdown.
Ticking stopped!
The powerful explosion blanketed the entire area in thick smoke. Fortunately, the destructive force wasn't as great as feared, and since everyone had taken cover in time, only a few soldiers sustained minor injuries with no fatalities. The thieves used the smoke as cover and quickly evacuated. They split into 2 groups. 2 went to street level to escape by driving, while the other 2 headed to the rooftop, where they had drones prepared in advance. They then used the drones to transport the stolen goods out box by box. Before long, the goods had been transported beyond the police perimeter zone, where a woman was waiting to receive them. With the mission complete, the 2 hurried downstairs